to say.
So these are the areas that the Thrive program that ACHF does, that you guys are, of course, intimately familiar with. We're focused on the mentorship, personal enrichment sector. And here at New Fam, we do general mentoring, which is providing consistent presence, a validation and love to each child. That's our most important
Absolutely.
job that we do. And if we didn't have any statistics or program when we left, but we did that, we feel like
You would have made a difference.
made a difference.
And they make such a difference in our lives. It's just been an incredible exchange.
But we're
speak
excited
Spanish?
because we do have.
We
Pardon?
speak some. That is one thing that I think ACHF could have done better, and that is choose the first pilot people to be fluent in Spanish. However, we are fluent in the language of love, so that's critical.
We are learning a lot, and we have learned a lot. And unfortunately, my level of frustration has not reduced because now that I can speak some, the type of conversations we need to have are that more critical, and so I'm still at the frustration level of trying to communicate.
But Google
we'll get
Translate
there.
does help a great deal, and when we've been in some of the sessions with the kids specifically, I can type extremely, and they're very impressed with that I type so fast, and I can have the exchange back and forth. So
So-
Translated.
We do general mentoring, which is just kind of help with the operations of the orphanage, just help it run smoother. We fill in for caregivers when they're gone or whatever, and we'll do errands, we'll go shopping with them, and just support their religious events for the children.
And that's been a wonderful thing for them to know. I mean, when we realized that they were starting to begin to really trust us in very critical spots in the thing, that was a great day.
Juan and Emma invited us to go with 3 of the girls the other night to in Tijuana, and with them while they picked out their white dresses
Beautiful white
for
first.
their first communion.
16.
And that was just awesome. Anyway, general mentoring continued. We contribute to enhancing orphanage care and conditions. Juan and Emma trust us a lot. Our eyes we see a lot of things they don't see, and they go, tell us if everything's okay. Tell us if there's anything going on.
Are there any suggestions?
so-
Anything we can do better? They're very open.
So we're
which is
somehow
great.
getting caught in the middle of like, yeah, we probably should say something about that
When you
caregiver.
first came, did they treat you with
Greatest
untrust
respect.
and not
Greatest
concern?
respect.
Right from the beginning, they
Right from the beginning.
expected you to
But
be up
that's,
here.
but
Well, I
that's,
wouldn't say complete trust, but certainly complete
Complete
appreciation
respect.
and love and respect.
but that is Juan and Emma. They expect the best, they give their best. There is so much, the children stand up taller around them. They feel so much love.
Where do you stay?
We stayed
Yeah.
right in one of the rooms as the house parents in this one particular area where we're searching
no
for the
house
house
parents.
parents for that area, but now they think they found one set coming in. We're still working on the other house, the house parents to come.
So we have to walk through the girls' bedrooms, their dorm room to get to our.
But it's become very close with those girls, which is good, but we're right now in a state of, he wants to know where we're sleeping. So then what's gonna happen now is when these groups come in, now they are down in the kitchen area of the volunteer dorm area. They are creating a little spot where we'll move to.
Sure.
But I'm so glad they didn't have that first, because being right where the kids are was key to helping us become part of the flow and the part of the kids' lives.
One of the things we've been doing that's very important, that's adjunct to our original mission, was helping with the books, library
Like
reading program
Libros,
that
like
Brad Jensen has
Biblioteca.
come and approached
Lectura.
ACHF about, and then we're doing probably the first pilot there, developing that program, and it's
In
going-
Spanish.
It is magical.
It's
We're acquiring
awesome.
the books that they need that are very engaging, and instead of having a whole, they did have a wall of books. They had some other books down that other shelf, but they were not accessible to the children. I mean, they were just tight together, and it just was
Accessible,
overwhelming.
it's like those books right there.
Yeah,
Those are not
Those-
accessible to the children.
they can't really see.
What you want to see is, if you see see the library shelves there with all the little dorky looking bins, that's money right there. They got stickers for Dog Man. Elephant, Piggy.
That's awesome.
And the kids have instant success. They know where the younger, the
They go
easier books
right
are. They
to the
know right
shelves
where
and
their
pull out the
particular
book.
reading level is. There's certain things that have caught their
Yep.
eye.
And that's
You
from
did that.
Brad
You put that
Jensen
all
We
together?
worked with Brad Jensen. Thank you
We
for
did it,
helping
but
put us
he was-
together.
telling us what to do at every step. He's a driver. He's great.
But we were totally right.
And we
I
have
mean,
support from the education director, Ellie.
which
Just
made
total
the
support.
total difference. Again, ACHF says, work with the staff, work with the people, let this be their program so it's sustainable when we aren't there.
So now the kids have reading once a day. They're required to go and read in their areas. And we can go in there and see the teen boys and they're all reading and the house parents there with a pencil going, okay, Johnny, it's your turn. Jorge, it's your turn to read for 2 minutes. She puts her timer on. He reads out loud for 2 minutes to everybody else.
Not everyone
Then
works
it's the
does it
next
that way,
one.
but
But anyway, it's crazy good. And
Another-
then every once a week we have library night. They go up for 30 to
every
40
hour
minutes.
area gets to go into the
each age
library. The
group.
first time it's been open free like this. The other thing that's significant is they had everybody wants the best for their children, and Newfam had already put in a reading time, but nobody was enforcing that except this one particular area. It just wasn't happening. But because the program was helped supported and the vision, and we helped get it rolling, then they redid the schedule, and now they've opened the library for the first time, and they're totally open to that. But again, orphanages want to do
That's
it, but they
part of
don't
the
always
value.
have the energy to do it.
It's part of the value of having the mentors there. We frankly were these really nice police. Like the orphanage directors want to impress us because frankly we're associated with funding sources and they believe in us and they believe in us and what we're trying to do. They want to do it. But they feel more pressure when they go, oh, Karl and Marsha are wondering why we aren't having reading times, why this area isn't doing their reading. And then they just call them on the radio, you know, it just, things happen, and partly it's because tutoring happened, because we were there and we're going, how come this child is 11 years old and doesn't know how to read? No
That
tutor.
child hadn't been assigned to a tutor yet. The tutoring was going on, but that child hadn't been assigned yet.
Have you put all this in writing?
We're working on it.
Because we need to take it so we can share with other
Mhm.
mentors and so forth. So much
Well, and with
detail as
donors.
you can give us, it would really help.
So the formal mentoring program was to build trust and then start the plan of life and hope for each child. And that's kind of our thing that's finally come to fruition after 5 months, which finally 6 months we've been here, but it's finally been going for a few weeks now, really, but it's excellent happening. So the program objectives these are the program objectives, is the plan of life and hope that we put together, and the orphanage bought off and modified it. It says this: the young person identifies and realistically accepts a set of goals, their own goals, to learn and acquire skills and an encounter with God that will help them develop while in the care of the institution, which will result in a happy and productive life, guided by the direction of the Holy Spirit. And then second bullet, provide mechanisms and adult support to achieve these goals. So that drives what we're doing with this plans.
When we first were talking about this with Juan and Emma, they said, well, this is what we wanted to do for our kids. We've done part of it, but we've wanted to do it, but we just always are so busy we haven't been able to do it. But now is the time, this is what we are doing. So we've helped take a desire and make it a reality for them.
The goal areas that the children set goals in are emotional, social, educational, intellectual, spiritual, character, serving, responsibility, and leadership, and personal interest and discovery. And then the last section is life skills we've added, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
One other section that's been great is that we were given a beautiful beginning plan by a Child's Hope, and it was wonderful. But in interaction with Juan and Emma, and with some of the background that we brought ourselves, we saw areas that it could be
That's why we
amplified.
need you to.
Amplified.
And that's
Exactly.
what we've been doing. We've made it bigger
Great.
and made it more applicable. It was fun to be able to see and to talk with
So,
Sean and
Sean.
Sean
Shannon and
Shannon
Dave.
Shannon and Dave.
and Dave, because they wanted to do that down there. They're gonna put a whole thing down there, and we said, this is the very kind of thing, because we realized, they said, yes, this is what's needed, the children need it.
Good,
So-
good.
We're not
That's
gonna give
the
you-
case with all orphanages. Back
These
to
are
your
details.
previous, Carl, back to your previous, the one, you've got one bullet point there, the spiritual character, et cetera. You're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So, how do you handle that when most of, in fact, all of these orphanages are run by the Catholics or the Baptists or other
Because they believe
evangelical?
in the same thing as we do.
Yes, they
They
do.
want their children to be the same way we
Prayer.
do on ours, same thing.
Well,
And
I
they
mean,
pray to the
the-
same God.
The subjects we have in the character development are like loyalty, integrity, honesty,
The Ten
prayer,
Commandments.
Yes,
developing a relationship with God,
the need for
reverence for the
A
sacred.
commitment to your
Those are all across
a
religions.
commitment to your God, a
Yeah.
commitment to your church community.
So these would go,
Generic, but
these are
totally
generic.
applicable.
Dave and Shannon wouldn't have a problem with any of the titles of any of the
Great,
classes.
good.
And they see us plug into the religious,
And
one
they
of
can
the
apply
sweet
this,
stories.
the emphasis they want based on their own religious.
One of the sweet stories is because we're there right in time for when they have the rosary prayers. And so when we came there, you know Lucero. Oh, I wanted to know what it was they were saying, and I couldn't just learn it by hearing them go, you know. And so Lucero hand wrote it out for me on a page of free ring binder paper. And so I now can, and we both can participate in the rosary with them. And so they see there's a total appreciation and honoring of their faith tradition. And they honor ours. They know that on Sunday morning we go to church.
Good.
And unless we can't because they
Isn't it
go to
wonderful
Sunday.
that we have so much in common with Christians?
Yes, and she talks all the time about the revelation, personal revelations, the guidance that she's releasing. We've never known a woman or a man, but Emma embodies faith and love, and she is the
Wouldn't
most.
be nice if we had more people in our church that would follow.
Absolutely,
We
absolutely.
do have a lot, but anyway, I'm sorry, we keep going.
Okay, so the life skills is a section of is a whole series of classes that we've started some of the spiritual ones, but the rest are waiting. It was a big mouth to bite off. So in our evolution of the program, we've got the goals going. We're meeting with the child on their goals, but the life skills classes are not happening
Who will
yet.
teach them? What is the curriculum? Do we just help provide the guidelines that we want high points hit and then do it? Are we bringing in experts from outside? Yes, everybody always pays attention to someone from outside, but also they love and honor the people inside. So that all of those things are being worked
So
out.
if we had a program that volunteers like you could learn different lessons and so forth on life skills and all, you could teach it.
Yes,
We wouldn't have to bring somebody from the outside.
Yes, but a lot of this stuff, New Family's unique because they have middle management and all kinds of resources, but they can do a lot of it. Like we're not going to teach cooking. We want caregivers to teach cooking, or the cooks to teach
But
cooking.
you could help introduce that to the caregivers, especially if it's in
Right.
Spanish.
We could provide them an outline of here's what we think you should cover.
and that's what I mean, outline the points and the curriculum ideas of that. But then whoever it is, but we have also some people that we met coincidentally through the church, but we've also heard other people that Eridira knows that we can bring in to teach some of those classes. And we hope to be able to do that so that the kids learn to trust and to want to emulate some of these people out there who are great and for them to build a relationship with.
Right.
So the life skills.
Do you think
Go
that most of the skills listed on that slide are universal across cultures, or would we have to have a curriculum that is adapted for each culture?
Well,
Or do you know?
I'm not positive of that, but I do know that here, we were thinking about the life that the kids have here, and that's in Tijuana, but they all need to learn how to, take
Sew a
public
button on.
transportation. And they need to learn how to
Pay how to
shop,
sew,
and
yeah.
learn how to
Mostly
pay
the
their
same.
bill, and it's very
Some are the
easily
same, but-
transferable.
Maybe
Maybe
cooking
the
might be
topics
different.
are universal. How it's
How it's
implemented
Yeah.
implemented.
is very
Cultural.
different based
Right.
on small town, city, etc.
Or what foods they're used to cooking.
Yes.
Exactly.
Can I ask a quick question as well? So you guys have been on both sides of this now. You've been on the side where you first heard about a Child's Hope Foundation, first heard about the
We're
opportunity to come and
volunteers.
serve, and now you've been actually doing it. Do you have any ideas on what we can do? I'm thinking of my own ward, and we've got so many older couples that could be
Yes.
doing this and
Learn Spanish.
learn Spanish.
Seriously. I mean, truly, right now, even in your communities, wherever you are, the percentage of people who speak Spanish in the world is growing who are members of the church. So just for them, they can say, I need to learn Spanish. But as a person of the world, that is one of the top languages that's being used, and it can be used in Europe, it can be here, it's in Africa, I mean, it's everywhere. Learn Spanish, have your kids learn. I mean, I'm so grateful for the French that I learned.
We probably should talk offline. Let me give that some more thought, because there's, unfortunately, the people who probably are most capable of doing this probably feel obligated to go on a church mission first and only.
But to understand, to also pray,
That's the people
to
you
find out where is their holy place, where are they to go, and to recognize that this is as legitimate and probably, well, we feel so called by God to accept this right now. It was interesting, we had the state presidency member who was at our little branch and now has become a ward. Okay, so they said to us, why are you volunteering for the Catholics and why didn't you go on a full-time mission? That's locally.
Yeah.
And those were constant questions from some of our
I didn't get
family.
snarky, by the way.
No. But we did say,
But hold it together.
but to truly understand and to begin doing service locally where they are, to understand the power that will change their family's life and their own life as they're involved in service.
And hopefully that piece that there's more flexibility in a mission like this.
Oh,
They
yeah.
also
You go
need,
and
yes,
you too.
they also need to study and learn about trauma and the impacts on children in trauma, because all of these children have experienced it. And suddenly you realize that the most important thing that you can do is change a child's life to heal from that kind of trauma. We're all wounded. We all are wounded, but these children have been so wounded.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going here.
And
You're gonna
How
have
many-
like
how many
2
minutes?
2 minutes.
Sorry.
Okay,
And we'll,
so,
we're not giving you guys justice to do this.
they
Don't
each
worry,
get a
we'll have
note,
plenty
they
of
each get a
chances.
notebook that has their goals in it to keep, and they can keep it and change over time. So those are 4 areas. There's a place to write down their goals, and this is a meeting with the child individually to set their goals.
Who meets?
The education director at New Fam meets on their educational goals. The therapists meet on their social emotional goals. Juan and Emma meet on their spiritual leadership, etc. goals. And we meet with them along with another staff on their personal interest goals.
And are there house parents involved?
They will
They're
be
on
in
the
implementation.
they're on the list to be involved.
But not
But Emma, they didn't choose to invite them to the council meeting, though we had them on the list. But we think it's very important that they are.
But
So-
as we do the implementation, they will know what's happening. We'll talk with them about it and say, you'll want to follow up with them and ask them how they're doing. This is some
Right.
way that you can have a quality interaction with them that will be positive and make a difference for them. We also know that another very sensitive situation is that some of the kids, all the kids, they saw this notebook that we gave.
Here's one of what he wrote. The top one said, this is a real goal that Antonio wrote. I'm a crier, so I'll try to
He's
get through this.
15.
He said, the first one is, I want to prepare for my first communion, or for confirmation. The second one is, I want to watch the series The Chosen, which we promoted,
To learn more.
to learn more about Jesus. And the third one was, I want to give more help to my house mother.
That's
Isn't
for
that
his
nice?
religious.
Can
And
they get the chosen in Spanish?
in Spanish, 2
Oh,
years
great.
ago, they've just completed the second season recently. It was just announced.
We've
The
shown-
I
best
need to
done.
find that, yeah, because I
We've
don't
shown
know
a
much
couple
of my
of
kids.
shows, and it's hard.
It's hard for them to
sell,
engage
there's-
because
Kids have a hard time, you know how it bounces from one person to the next storyline? As
and
it
there's
goes
not a
through
lot
the
of Marvel action going on.
Yeah.
Right.
And
But
so,
they need to be exposed
but they need to
this.
be exposed to it, and
It is a slow start.
So we have 6 kids
It took
involved
me a
right now,
little bit
4
before I got into it,
boys.
and then I just,
Loved it.
4 boys and 2 girls. The oldest kids in the orphanage are involved in the program right now of this Child's Hope planning and stuff. And
and also see, they
here's some of the
sense
goals.
what's happening, they wanna be involved. We'll
Join the
hopefully be able to
gym,
open it up soon.
Work in New Fam Kitchen to earn the money for membership. That's happening. Paint on special CDs. To buy the paints they washed our car after getting. Anyway, there's stories behind all of these. Create a wall art display. Go camping. Learn to box. Learn programming. Learn to read and write cursive.
Marsha, really quick, before we end, you were saying something about the plans and the house parents being involved.
Yes, it's
Could
gonna
you
be
finish
really
that?
important. It's also pretty tricky because as they spend time focusing with that child and the other kids hear about it, I mean, all the children are seeing something's happening, but they will be able to provide support, just like a parent does with a child that's doing something and making it very personal. That's a very important element to support the children and what they're doing, because we're gonna be meeting with them on a weekly basis, or it might go 2 weeks if they're on a long term to see how they're doing. But that parent, our whole point is to create the bonds with the caregivers and parents, house parents that can uplift and support the children, and so that the children can connect to them more as mentors as well as the authority figures who tell them it's time to go take your shower and clean up your room and do that, but to help them be excited about it. And then they can also help them probably think of more things and be there, and they'll just start thinking, well, that's gonna percolate down with the other kids too.
How long are you gonna be doing this?
Well, I remember when we told you we wanted to go for a little extended, and they said 6 months. Well, then they called us and said, we want you to commit for at least a year. And I said, a year?
Okay,
Well,
we're gonna quit.
we
The
can't.
short answer is a
We
year
can't.
longer. We've been here 6 months.
Someone just asked me last week, and I said, oh, we'll be here for another year. So,
Thank you.
because it just took
Thank you,
time for
thank
it to
you.
get
So-
started.
So what can we do? Well, you're getting all this knowledge so we can not only have you write it down, but we need you to help train the future ones that replace you.
Well, we would be honored to do all of that. But we are trying to write and pull together.
Right, put
And we're
together.
grateful for the form, the weekly report form. It helps us to.
We, I'm gonna tell you what we love about you guys. We love that you have an overall roadmap for leveraging your resources over multiple houses and regions. I
Yes.
think that's a beautiful vision.
And we
we're
know
glad
that
to
this
be
works
part of it.
here, it's definitely gonna work in all these other places.
We appreciate your support for mentoring, that you believe in individual care, that you support therapy, training of caregivers, tutor support, educational support. These are all part of you guys already came up with these ideas and objectives, but we have seen,
It paid off.
we know those are right and important.